Call meeting to order, Monday, June 8th. Selectmen meeting. Start with what?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anything to add to the agenda?
Yeah, we got our RSU 21 Board of Directors minute, meeting.
Anything else? Seeing none, look for a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Velma,
Second.
seconded by Tom, all those in favor? Public forum. Any non-agenda items? Moving on, minutes, May 26th.
Okay.
Motion by Phil, seconded by Dan, all those in favor? Mr. DuBois.
Okay, RSU Directors Meeting, June 1st, 2020. There was an opening statement by Dr. Potenziano on the Floyd situation. He read a whole, a whole thing on how they support, all the stuff that's going on with all that. And they did there's an update that Steve Markey will be the interim superintendent for 90 days. Meg Parkhurst and Sheila Wells did a district curriculum for math update. Resignation of Margaret Parkhurst. Then there were some presentations on the distance learning from the elementary, middle school, and high school levels. Some of the things that they are finding is with this distance learning, it's hard to assess how students are doing. It was a kind of a common theme. Each elementary school gave a presentation, middle school gave a presentation, and the high school did. And there was kind of a little bit of a common theme with that. At the middle school, they were finding 60 to 70% engagement. There's this tool that they use, I guess, called Power School. That's helping. But on all of these, they're having difficult with managing the social, emotional piece. It's really hard to do that, both for students and for the staff. They've got a whole bunch of plans to try to work that. I think they're doing a pretty good job of trying to do everything they can to, get all that stuff going. So they have a 5-step plan that they're focusing on to try to get all of this distance learning plans better. Sue Cressy gave an update on the graduation that happened this past weekend. She gave an update on how it was going to be. There's going to be a drive-in theater type, live stream. I'm not sure how that went, but I'm sure it went pretty good. HR gave a little discussion on the superintendent. They have 18 applicants for superintendent. They whittled it down to 8. One of them withdrew, so they have 7. So they started talking about doing interviews with those individuals, background checks. And then there was an hour and a half, maybe, I don't know, at least discussion on these background checks and how to do it, when to do them. And it just went on and on and on and on. And I think they finally came up to a resolution. I don't know, I got confused. Facilities, the capital committee for the turf field, they're kind of reassessing. So they had a capital program going out to try to go get get funds for that field. And with all of this going on, they're concerned about getting those funds with the COVID situation. So they're going to kind of meet back and try to reassess and move forward. One of the things that they did notice is that in the football field, they had one pole in the football field that had a big round hole in it. They're pretty sure it's from a pileated woodpecker. So they don't think that pole is very safe, so they're having it reassessed, and they're going around to check all the other poles, inspect all the other poles, make sure that they're all good. I think that was it. The meeting started at 6 PM and we adjourned at 10:35. Great meeting.
I thought they hired somebody to assist them with the superintendent search.
So,
Aren't they supposed to do this background check stuff?
so,
Not that is
there
right.
was discussion, maybe Jack can fill in a little bit on this. So there was discussions on hiring somebody, and then to do that, and then they decided to do it themselves. And then they're using the Maine municipal something to help them with the
Maine
back.
School management?
Yeah, something to help them with the background check, possibly help them with the background checks. So there was a background checks, Google check, you know, all of those, there's kind of different types of checks that they wanna do. And I mean, there was huge discussions on, we wanna do it on all 7 of these, and then we wanna do it on one. And oh my God, it just, were you still on the meeting when they were talking about that?
To the very last
Oh,
minute.
God, it was just going round and around and around and around, and I think they're doing some level of background check for all 7, and then when they whittle it down to the finalists, then they'll do a more intensive background check for those, but, yes.
Yeah, I can add some limited information since I'm on the team that's
Yeah, that's right.
doing the evaluation. Over the weekend, the 7 got whittled down to 6 out of an original 18.
Yep,
And it's very unfortunate, but in a slow-moving environment like this, why, you know, the hunting season for superintendents is short, like, you know, hunting moose.
right,
And you don't shoot the first moose that you see, or you do when you're hunting moose, but in a superintendent, you sort through and you pick the best moose possible. If I can put it in those terms.
you did.
And
You may wanna take it back, Jack.
one of the moose disappeared over the weekend. So at any rate, with regard to this discussion on background checks, because of whatever happened last time where it wasn't done properly, in my view, they've gone grossly overboard and are just hypersensitive about not doing it right, whatever right is. But the effort has been delegated to the Maine School Management Association. And the good news is they can do a competent job of it. So I think it'll turn out okay, and for a whole hell of a lot less money.
Yeah, you'd think with all the press that the RSU got, that an applicant wouldn't go in there that has a shady, you know, a shady background, right? You'd think that, you know, they would, but,
Well,
whatever.
one would think.
Yeah, you never know, I guess.
I've probably said as much as I can say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe too much.
Mr. Manager. Yes, the first thing I have is the public hearing on the York County budget. That'll be coming up here this Wednesday at 6:30 at the lower level of the York County Courthouse. And for those of you who would like to go to that public hearing, it's available for you. More importantly for us and our perspective, and John had already provided me this information, was that the York York County tax assessment, based on the proposed budget, puts Arundel's share at $264,946.33. I usually round it up just a little bit, which is 1.47 of the county tax and 1.25% of the budget. So
What was it last year?
It was 256,9 something.
Yeah, it went up by $8,000 from,
Just to give you a quick update on the offices reopening, my major concern for the month of July was that, the month of June, that we weren't going to meet our revenue projections, and I'm safe to say that we're going to meet them and then some. I don't know what we collected today, but the first 3 days that we were open, we pretty much almost met our goal of $100,000 that we needed to collect in order to break our revenue even. So at this point, whatever we collect will be to our benefit, and obviously perhaps go into the fund balance when the time comes. So that was good news. The modified hours, I think, from what I could gather, and Emily can weigh in, I've been there in the morning when the ladies have come in at 6:30. It seems like probably about, so you get a couple, we had a couple on the first day at 6:30, but generally they like the mornings more than they like the afternoon. So we're seeing that trend in the morning seems to be a little bit better for folks to come in. I think 6:30 is a little early, but it seems to be working. The Friday, I was in the office on Friday as well for a brief time, and there was still people that thought we were open on Friday that were coming to the door. So that piece, I think people are still trying to get a handle on. But for all in all, I think the safety measures have worked. We've designated where folks be. We have sanitized stations outside in the hallway. We're only allowing 2 people into the lobby at any given time. The rest have to stay outside, and either staff goes, gets them, or when somebody's leaving, we tell the next person to come on in. Staff is sanitizing after each visit. I think we're doing all the safety protocols that we need. And it seems like we're serving the public, which was my large concern through this whole thing, was to make sure that we continue to provide the services to the public. The thing I guess bothered me more than anything was the state's effort in terms of reopening their offices, where they're taking by appointment only. So you actually, if you come and do your exercise and do your efforts here, and you have to get plates, you have to go down to Kennebunk or any of the other branches and make an appointment before you go. So they don't have any waiting outside and any of that kind of stuff. So a little different than what we ended up doing.
Just out of curiosity, how long are you planning on keeping these modified hours?
We're gonna go until town meeting, whether it's the 14th of July or the 15th of July, and at that point, unless there's a great effort it'll give us my thought was we'd go back to the 8-hour, 5 days a week.
Is there any thought at all about keeping them the way they are?
Emmett and I have talked about it. If we do it, I think the morning, but not at 6:30.
No, so the staff actually likes it, and of course, why wouldn't we like having a 3-day weekend, but we see a lot more traffic in the morning, in the 6:30 to 8, maybe 6:40, to 8 is really, it's busy. On the nights we're open till 6:30, around 5:30, it just dies down, and it gives you time to kind of putter and pick up, and but I know the staff has talked amongst ourselves, and if we could keep like a 7 to 5:30, 4 days a week, I think we'd still hit a lot of the people in the morning, but again, that'd be something we'd come to you guys with, if we felt we could do it, that you're okay on it, though. Sure. It would be an adjustment, of course, for everybody, but.
And then I think I sent a variety of, a couple emails to you all about the issues we had with the water well at the fire station and the public in the town office. Obviously, it wasn't what I would like to have happened, but we had been having some issues with the well for about 6 months where there was times when there was a lot of material that was being brought up as well, for whatever reason, I'm not sure. But when they came to pull a well, the well had burnt out, the well pump. The wire going down, which is over 400 feet down for that well, there was chafed wire almost the entire length of it down the well itself. So luckily, you know, nobody was touching that well casing when the well was running, and you know, the opportunity of getting a shock was pretty evident there. Then it also took out the control box, which was in the fire station. So the well pump, the new line, new wire, new control box. And so I got the bill today of $7,800 to make the repairs. The only thing left, and we held off on that, was that I think we're gonna have to put a better filtration system in. Even after we leave, I think the fire department gets the brunt of this discolored water. So it may be to our benefit to make some efforts there. So that's the bad news. Something that I really didn't want to do at this time of year, but
I figured it would be more than $7,800, but.
yeah, I was thinking it was gonna be a little bit more than that, but it ended up being 78. Right now, I'm earmarking the withdrawal of money from the contingency fund. We have 10,000 in there to cover these unexpected expenses, so that's where I'm earmarking the fund to come from. So
Did you have discolored water before they changed the pump?
we did, yep. And we had a lot of it after they changed it, obviously, when it was circulating. And,
Sure have that for 2 weeks.
yeah, we ran that for a while. It sort of cleared up a little bit, but you can still see a lot of it. But anyway.
Is there a filter at all over the pipe?
Yes, there's two, I think there's two filters in tandem that filter just the, whatever sediment that in it, it's all it is. It's not a, taking out the iron. I think there's a lot of iron content to the water, so, and that may be, could be some of the problem too, I'm not sure. But I was trying to figure how old that pump was, and the nearest I can gather, it's somewhere between 23 and 27 years that it was in service, so I think we got a lot of use out of it that amount of time.
Do they have any idea what caused the wire to fray all the way down, Keith?
What generally happens, and you know, being a well owner myself and having to replace my pump, you talk to these folks, and evidently when those pumps come on, and this pump in this well is 3 horsepower, so the torque on it really makes it twist. Now they have some sort of collar that they stick on there to
Torque arresters.
yeah, to make it from not torquing as much, but I got a funny feeling that that's what happened in this case.
And every time that pump starts, it wants to turn.
Correct.
And the wire rubs.
Yeah.
Over time, it gets bare.
Yeah.
I had the same problem.
Did you?
Yep.
So, I think that's what we got.
Thank you. We got an update on Brimstone and Limerick.
Yes, we met with the, Roger and I and Terry were out, meeting with the, present property owner. He has a contract on the property at this point. From what I gathered, he not only owned the front piece, there's another house behind it that was in the same estate, and he bought both of them. The one behind it, I guess his son and his daughter-in-law are residing in, and then he's selling the one out front. From what I gathered, speaking with them, he's already also spoken to the potential buyer of the property, indicating that what they're seeking in terms of compensation would be to identify the lot line and from the rear part, which abuts those 2 lots, from the Limerick Road over to the Brimstone Road. And the survey that we had did all the other lines that were associated with the lot, with the exception of those three in the back. I think we set the one that was on Limerick, but we didn't set the other two, obviously going across the property. He thinks that he may be, his grandson's swing set may be on the other property, and he'd just like to identify that. So that's what he's seeking. Roger and I have, well, Roger primarily has reached out to B&H2 to get an estimate of what the cost would be to identify that lot, those lot lines. Once I have that, then I'll be able to provide you a little bit further information on that. We do, however, have a pole permit that's been issued that we would like to have some action on tonight from CMP. And what they're going to do is they're going to replace the pole that's in the island intersection, and then there'll be a new pole on Brimstone, and then there'll be a line across Limerick Road to another pole that's been identified near the Doobie property in their driveway. I think it's probably another 75 feet from their driveway. There'll be a pole set there, and then it will go back across the road to the golf course side, and it will eliminate that pole in the middle. So we're waiting for that to be done. If you approve the pole permit, that to be done, CMP will then relocate their power, and then I guess it goes to Spectrum and to the phone company. And those are the two that I think that are more in delay than anything else. So once that's done, and we get a price for the lot line, we'll have a better idea of how you want to proceed.
So if we do the survey, get the lot lines all squared away, Tom, we've gotta do something with that one law, right, because it's a non-conforming law, right? We have to somehow identify that we're not gonna take action against, anything.
Yeah,
or-
we'd have to frame up a consent decree
Yeah.
of some kind and have you folks sign it and record it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think that we would wanna go down that route until we find out the rest of this stuff,
Yeah.
and then we can
Yeah, the back one
maybe
maybe
work that
non-conforming
together.
too.
What's that?
The back one may be non-conforming too.
No.
That's 1 acre lots there, right? That's still 1 acre lots.
Yeah, I think the front one is even less than an acre.
Yeah, it is,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, those are family lots.
So there's a packet here from
CMP.
CMP, Donna Raymond, if anybody wants to look at it before we vote on it.
I think I provided one in your packet,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and the one you have there is the original, Jason.
Okay, all right.
So if we get action on it, we'll have you sign it and.
I make a motion to approve the CMP pole permit.
Allison?
Motion by Dan, seconded by Tom. All those in favor? You good, Pete?
What's that?
You good?
Yep.
we've got window shades upgrade.
Yes, I provided you some information that was developed by the architect and the contractor as they looked at several options for window shading for the new municipal building. They are proposing a window shade from Comfortex. It's called the Symphony line. And as I understand, when I spoke to the contractors, that the Symphony line was a line which met the commercial specifications for flame retardant, as well as the UV and insulating factors. So they're recommending the Symphony with the insulated track system, which will provide an additional protection along that road, along that window, not only for light transmission as well as heat leaving the area. The other thing about this track system is it can be raised and lowered from both ends. So if there's a lot of sun coming in and people want the light, but they don't want the direct sun into there, they can lower the top of the track down to allow light in from the top. And then the bottom also comes up. So this is what they're recommending for us. I did a little bit of research on it. It seems like a good product. They hired a shade company from Lewiston to provide them recommendations and thoughts, and this is what they're proposing at this point. Obviously, to us, it's an upgrade to what they were going to put in at no additional cost to the town for installation.
Anybody have anything left? We got some adjustments in the rec department budget.
So you guys are all set with it, just the way it is, don't have to take any action? You're all set? Okay. All right, I'll give you, go ahead.
Was there an R factor on what this would?
Yes, there was. I think it, R factor,
Thought I saw it.
R value is greater than 7 for the comfort track system, including Symphony blackout fabric installed over a vinyl frame double pane window. Just before the rec
I got
picture,
it.
yeah.
yeah, the recreation director obviously went back and readjusted her budget according to the fact that we will not have summer recreation this summer. What she ended up doing is reducing the summer, the recreation budget by $61,200 and her projected revenue by $90,000, which gives us a new total for the rec department at $318,706. I don't know what else to tell you at this point, that what I've done is I've built that reduction already into the budget presentation, whether we go to ballot or go to open town meeting, as you guys will make that decision a little later on here. But
What does that do for our mill rate?
It adds 6 cents.
Add 6 cents?
Yeah.
And that's at, if we stay at 300,000, fund balance?
Well, gonna add 6 cents no matter what else we do with the other figures.
Well, we could offset it with more from fund balance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 Right, so that 6 cents is,
The 6 cents is the difference between the old rec figures we were using and the new rec figures that Jen and Keith came up with.
Cause
So-
you got less revenue that you're gonna collect. You got
I understand,
93.
but so with the 6 cents, what fund balance are we using, 300,000?
Yes.
Right, so if we
Right
use-
now, I'm at 300,000. I have a warrant article within the warrant to provide you folks flexibility to add another 100,000.
Right.
But that's a decision you guys will have to make, so.
So if we add that extra 100,000, what does that do to our mill rate?
I wasn't anticipating that question, so I can't tell you.
But it'll
We-
bring, it'll
It would bring it
below-
down. Right now, with the 300,000, we're looking at a mill rate of 16.72, which would be a 42-cent increase.
Right,
If we kick another 100,000 there, I don't know, 8 or 10 cents less maybe.
okay.
The option's there when you're setting the tax rate, if it so gets approved, then you have that flexibility to consider when you're discussing it. In addition to that, we furloughed 2 employees in the rec department as of last week. The program coordinator and Lori, can't remember her title, but both of them have been furloughed right now until, what she's planning on doing is bringing Tyler back in the end of July, the 1st of August. He's already planned some sports clinics, so we'll limit the amount of participation in them, but he'll be able to provide those here at the field. So at least maybe we'll capture some of that. Lori is continuing to, on a very limited basis, 1 day a week, to stay in contact with what we affectionately call the bingo ladies, which look forward to meeting and conversing and that kind of thing, which they haven't been able to do for 12 to 13 weeks here. So they're very limited, and we're gearing up for our fall events, and I'm hopeful that more common sense attitudes prevail as we move forward to try to get us all back to something that resembles recreation and resembles public participation, so we'll see.
Waiver of an interest request.
Yeah, I have a lady who paid her taxes last week, paid them in full, but felt that with COVID-19, that there should have been some forgiveness of the interest that she accrued by waiting to pay her taxes. So the interest accrued at, I think it was $33.71, and she was looking to see if the town was willing to waive the interest payments on her behalf.
Was that what was accrued while the office was closed, that she couldn't pay her taxes?
She could have paid her taxes at any given time. We were taking money over the slot, could have done it, mailed it to us.
But she didn't pay, it wasn't that she just missed October's because of COVID, she didn't pay October's as well.
She didn't pay,
The first installment.
she didn't pay the
Yeah.
first installment either.
But
And then affectionately used COVID to say that's why she didn't pay it well, so.
Do we have the authority to do that?
We,
The town, we set that, it's set 9%, I think, is the interest rate that was set by the town.
right,
That's what we're supposed to collect
Right.
for unpaid taxes. I'm not sure the town's told us that.
Yeah, that's a warrant item that we
Yeah.
have to vote on.
the only thing we waived is if it was pennies, in the not in significant dollar amounts that we waived, so.
$30 isn't much, but I don't know where we get the authority to do that.
Especially since it really, I mean, if it was a case that the office wasn't open and she had no way to make the payment, that is one thing, but there was never a time when there wasn't a way she couldn't have made that payment.
That's correct.
Yeah. But I like Tom's reasoning, we don't have the authority to make that decision. would have to be made by town meeting.
Or we put it on the warrant, I don't know, with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then they're gonna,
We don't need that.
All right, so we're all good there?
Yep.
All right, Executive Order 56.
Yes, on June third, the governor has released her executive order as to how municipalities that do not have referendum ballot or secret ballot voting now has the authority under executive order to provide it if they so desire. From what I'm gathering, the clincher for her at this particular point is that they're still holding steadfast on the limitation of 50 participants at an open town meeting that would trigger, in her view, that would trigger you to go to a secret ballot situation. I figured I'd leave it up to you folks as to how you wish to proceed with this. I have my opinions. I think Emily has hers as well. One of the things that Emily did on my behalf was to look at the last 4 years to see on average what we were having at our annual town meetings, and it averages 66.
But that includes the high number that we had last year, right?
No?
No, it
we
doesn't
didn't.
include special town meetings.
We left out all
Just the
the
annual.
Okay.
special town meetings. All we counted on were the annual town meetings.
Okay.
It
For
was-
the last
yeah,
4
last
years.
5 years, I did 5.
Five,
yeah.
I'm sorry. And it ended up being 66 as an average.
60 the average.
So,
I thought it would be less than that.
I know,
And it will be less than that this year.
yeah.
yes,
So-
I think so too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could sit here and, quite frankly, I'm of the opinion that, that I'd like to continue the open town meeting.
How do you do a ballot?
Yeah,
You have 40 articles, you have to vote on
Yeah.
individually.
We
It
looked
would
at,
be
we
hard.
looked at combining some articles, and I got it down to 25.
But we'd have to create the ballots,
Yeah,
we have to hand count.
you gotta get them out to people now.
Yeah.
So I have, my ballots for the local meeting are the RSU and, you know, our local ballot
Right.
came in today, but I'm still waiting on the actual state ballots for the primary.
Mhm.
But then we'd also have to create the ballots for the warrant and the 2 land use ordinances that have been trimmed down if in fact we do go to ballot. So we gotta figure out that logistics, because we've never done it.
you don't have much time to do that either.
No, because
We'll get
absentee
this week.
ballots need at least 30 days.
Yeah, I'm looking at this saying, you're running out of time to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we'd make it work, but it would be new, it would be new to us to figure that
The
out.
governor didn't give us much time to act on this, if we
Really?
wanted to act on it.
And I will say, though, we have had a huge increase in requests for absentee ballots, so that's good. Every day when I go in, I have, you know, on average, you know, 15 to 20 sitting in my inbox, which is not historically what I've seen in the 3 years I've been there. So it does show that people are really getting out there and getting ahead of it. So maybe, like Tom said, and I agree, that we probably won't have 50 people, but what if we did? We can't
Well,
turn
I
away.
mean, can we accommodate 50 in the gym?
We can.
Yeah,
Now, what if if there was an overflow, and we use this room? We got audio in this room, all they gotta do is hear the moderator, right? And somebody could be here reporting what the
that
vote
was,
tally.
yeah, you could have even a TV or some
Something.
type of,
Right.
Right.
You could do that.
Yeah.
Or you could, as I always say, if we had 55 there, I don't know about you, but common sense for me prevails. I'm not gonna worry, I have a lot of heartburn over 55. If we had 75, obviously we'd have to have that accommodation, so. I think that's what the RSU was planning on doing too, was to provide satellite rooms
Right.
for that overflow.
Yeah.
So,
I think you should sell tickets to the town meeting at $10 a piece, and when 50 are gone, that's it.
Then nobody will show up.
It's just it's such a pure way of democracy that I don't wanna go away from it if we can totally help it.
No, I think we need to have an open meeting.
Yeah, and with the warrant articles that we have this year are really, there's not,
I mean, I can't imagine what the ballot would look like, even with 30, everyone's got the individual, you gotta have a vote on each one of them, right?
And that's the thing, yeah, at the end of the night, if you ain't counting, what did we get, 25?
Well, I got down to
We get
25.
down to 25, that was,
Yeah,
we do it if we had to, but I certainly don't
So it'd
want to.
be a created ballot for
You
us.
could have 10 articles pass, and you could have another 10 or 15 fail, and then, okay, it's fine, but.
nobody gets to ask any questions or discuss them either.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
so I make a motion that we continue on with our open town meeting.
I'd second that.
Motion by Dan, seconded by Phil. Do we need that if we're not changing anything?
I think it's more of a symbolic vote than anything else, that you've shown some support for it. to
All
continue.
those in favor?
Thanks.
And then we just, to Tom's point, we just work on some provisions in
Well,
case.
yeah, that will be the thing. I don't know how we'll have to logistically put that together,
Yeah,
but,
that's not my strong point.
Well,
Mark's
could
gonna
you
do it.
accommodate people on Zoom or something like that, rather than going with satellite rooms?
I don't
I don't know, John, cause you have to affirmatively vote, right? So you'd have to have everybody, like we've been doing at our meetings, everybody would have to weigh in
Yeah.
one at a
think we
time.
can put it on the screen.
Yeah.
We have to talk to the RSU how we could video that.
Live video.
Right.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to be live.
So there is a live stream connection here, cause they've
Okay.
done live stream from here,
Okay.
connected into that, and I don't know if they can go and do live stream in the gym, I don't think so, but.
But can we rent a camera that could live stream into the system? I guess I'll have to find out. Okay.
Could I make a comment?
Sure.
Jamie Jensen, who's the IT director for the school district, is putting it together for KES.
Okay.
And he lives here in Rundle,
Yeah.
and he knows the school.
Yeah,
I would guess
definitely be the
that
guy to call, 'cause he's
ten
real good at that
minutes of
stuff.
time.
Does he work for the RSU?
Yeah.
Jim
Yeah.
Jensen?
Yeah.
He's like the IT guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's the IT director, and very, very good, very good.
And they might have equipment there, or maybe you just need a
Uh,
longer cable, you
that-
can run a cable along the side of the aisle from there into the connection here, I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
He's the guy that can.
Okay, well, I'll reach
Or,
out to
or
him.
that it could even come through the internet from one room.
Possibly,
this
yeah,
room.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true too.
That's a
Live
good
stream it.
resolution to it. The only logistics is that, we're gonna have to figure out who's gonna be here
Yeah,
to sort of manage the group if we need them.
Facilitate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could get Ann to be in this room, or
Yeah,
I could get someone from work.
right.
You
The other-
could, with a camera too, I mean, if it's the right camera or even a good cell phone, you could do a Facebook live stream. And you can live stream from there and project it right here, and then, so there are definitely ways to do this.
Okay,
It's not that hard.
Okay.
that's good to hear. Emily, why don't you chat a little bit with them about the protective measures that you were able to get, through the state?
Yes.
So they have an idea of what we're.
So the state is supplying at no cost to the town, all PPE equipment for, myself and my election workers, which is nice. Masks, face shields, gloves, hand sanitizer. They've also provided, or will be providing, I had to tell them today how many I needed. They made, almost like, has anyone been into the town hall and seen our shields on
Oh, I
the
see that.
counter?
Yeah.
So they're making us those as well. They're 3x3 and they're plastic, so there'll be one at the registrar's table, there'll be, so we have table, I don't know how long the tables are that the clerks sit at, but there'll be two for each person at that table, so everyone will be protected. So I think, they're doing their homework and they're making sure that, the workers that we hire feel protected. I am struggling a little bit with getting people to work, but, we'll figure it out. Just people a lot of my election workers are compromised, or maybe just don't wanna be exposed, and that's fine, I just gotta work that out.
now the election's gonna be here.
Yep.
Are we going to have marks on the floor for every 6 feet so people can
Yeah,
know?
now that, we're doing it here, I don't have to worry about getting the fire trucks out first thing in the morning, so I can actually essentially set up the night before. So I can do all that and have everyone's social
Yeah,
distance.
and everybody will use the
So
door.
we'll go in from the
Yeah,
rec,
the
that
door that-
area
yeah.
down there to go
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
the
to
gym
go
like
in,
we
yeah.
do for the town meeting.
Yep, and, I'm not sure, I haven't been approached by the, Historical Society about the bake sale yet.
No,
I don't know that
no,
they'll be okay, so I don't have to worry about a space for them,
No.
for you guys, okay, that kind of makes me.
we are not planning on anything until we have Arundel Days in October.
Okay,
We figure that people wouldn't want to be coming up to us with food all over the table.
yeah,
We would have to have some way to protect ourselves,
Okay.
and so, as far as I
okay,
know.
alright, good, I
we're
don't have to worry about
planning
that, so,
nothing.
yeah, we'll make it happen, we'll take the steps we need and go from there. End of the night might be a little more difficult, when everyone leaves and we're pounding, trying to figure out everything, but we'll be safe.
Yeah, I think it'll work, and I'm really happy that you guys symbolically wanna continue the open town meeting. I think that's the way to go.
Alright, moving on, payroll warrant,
So moved.
motion by Dan, seconded by
Second,
Velma, all those in favor?
the largest amount on, oh, I have a question about that RSU. When we go to town meeting in July, usually our first bill of the year is on that for our first warrant in July. Will we not be paying that until after town meeting?
I won't pay it until after your July 15th action,
Okay.
or 14th, whenever the vote is, the vote's on the 14th action. Yeah. Hopefully they understand.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't, you don't have a, yeah, no. I'm good.
Any other business? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Motion by Phil, seconded by
Second.
Dan. All those in favor? Thank you all.
Thank you.
7:46.
Shorter than the Zoom meetings.
Yeah, especially the last one.
Camera.